consciousness or awareness might be a different concept when it is seen from a scientific point of view. The spiritual context is different than what most of the scientific concepts that we have. In India, in our most ancient text, we call it Chaitanya. Chaitanya is a word without any association. It is Nirakar. It cannot be thought like any other form. It is neither male nor female. It is formless. Chaitanya becomes Chetna, which is the consciousness in the scientific context. So what you call consciousness is what we can call Chetna in one's form, human form. But Chetna is contracted form of Chaitanya. Consciousness is contracted form of Chaitanya. If you look from the spiritual perspective. And Chetna becomes Chitti. Chitta. Chitta means mind. So the consciousness becomes the mind. But Chaitanya is before consciousness. But yes, we can use it because when you look things from the essence perspective, for example, a gold becomes a ring, a gold becomes a garland. It all the time it remains gold. You want to call it ring, no problem, but you cannot say ring is gold or ring is the essence of gold. It will be other way around. The gold is essence of ring. Chaitanya is essence of consciousness. Now what is this Chaitanya? Chaitanya means Prakash Vimarshmay reality. Prakasha means the light. Light, not the physical light, but the light of knowing. And Vimarsha means the characteristic of this light to know itself is Prakasha. So the reality is Prakasha Vimarshamai, which means the reality is the light of knowing which knows itself. The first sutra says, Shiva Sutra says, Chaitanyam Atma. This Chaitanyam, this light of knowing which knows itself, is Atma also. So it clears all the concepts which modern religions may have doubt. So for example, there is a concept of spirit. That concept of spirit is close to the concept of Atma. Not exactly it is like that, but is close. So we are not interested in all these divisions. What we are interested in is the reality behind all of this. And we say Chaitanya is the ultimate reality. The light of knowing which knows itself is the ultimate reality. Today I am going to talk about one shloka from Malini Vijaya Uttara Tantra. Where Shiva explains to Parvati 16 states of consciousness or awareness. Now, what are the 16 states of consciousness or awareness? Now, definitely you can see it is the human consciousness we are talking about. Which is contracted form of Chaitanya. So these 16 states are divided into 4, and one is beyond 4. So the first state is Jagrat state. Jagrat means awakened state. Now this is not self-recognized or self-realized state. It's simply awakened when you are not sleeping, when you are not dreaming. Wakefulness. So first is wakefulness. Second is Swapna or dreaming state. And third is Sushupti or deep sleep state. And fourth is Turya. And in Tantra there is one which is beyond Turya. Let's talk about each of these 4 by using the shloka from Malini Vijaya Uttara Tantra. Shiva says, Dvisanjam Swapnam Icchanti Padastham Vyaptir Ityapi Rupastham Tu Mahavyapti Sushuptastyapi Tadvayam Dvi Sanjam Swapnam Icchanti Padastham Vyaptir Ityapi. So, let's start with Jagrat Avastha or wakefulness state. Wakefulness state is also known as the state of Maya. So many Indian spiritual teachers will always talk about how the reality that we see is not true. It is not what it appears to be. And that you can see in many of our meditations. We try to realize that, and we can very well realize that the reality is not what we experience, what we see, what we hear, what we touch, we smell, we taste, or we think. The reality is different. Reality is essence of all the experiences. Everything is in comparison to something. The entire world is green, then there is no color green. There has to be a distinction from each other. In wakefulness, we are pindastha. Pinda means body, stha means situated, established. We are established in this body, that's why we call it pindastha avastha, pindastha state, or rooted in the body. We can call it Jagrat, wakefulness. Now this wakefulness is also divided into four, because not everyone is wakeful in the same degree, right? Like we have an angle of minus 180 degree to 180 degree. Like we have on a number line minus 10 plus 10. So the degree of consciousness may be different. So the first part, which is from spiritual sense, which is the lowest part, is wakefulness in wakefulness, Jagrat, Jagrat. It means you are awake, and you are completely rooted in your body. Whatever is happening to my body is happening to me. The body will fall, I will fall. The body will die one day, I will die one day. The body is feeling miserable, I am feeling miserable. The body is hungry, I am hungry. The body is hurt, I am hurt. That's a Jagrat, Jagrat state. Not even thought is important here. It's your reaction to all the environment which surrounds your body. You just react. You are like a react machine. You just give reactions on everything. Whether it's good, you feel good. Whether it's bad, you feel bad. That's Jagrat, Jagrat avastha. Second is Jagrat Swapna, or dreaming in wakefulness. When you are in wakefulness and you are dreaming, it means you are thinking. Most of the world today, 70% of us, we are into, usually we run into this state now, Jagrat Swapna, which means you are active in the sense of mind and body both. Your mind is also active, your body is also active. You are still in the body. In Jagrat Swapna state, dreaming in wakefulness state, you are lost in your daydreaming, making plans of future, all the regrets, all the guilts, happiness from the past experiences, anxiety about the future, all that is dreaming in the wakefulness. That's the second state. And you can see most of the people, they are running around. Observe someone carefully walking down the street, sitting in a market. Even if someone is not talking to others, they are talking to themselves. Shiva calls this avastha, this state, as Buddha state. It has nothing to do with the Mahatma Buddha, Lord Buddha. But it is much before Mahatma Buddha these things were written. It means that now you are not Abuddha. Abuddha is Jagrat Jagrat. This is Buddha. Buddha means Jagrat Swapna. You at least can think now, which is one step higher. You are thinking now. That is Jagrat Swapna. Third is Jagrat Sushupti, deep sleep in wakefulness. Now this is interesting. Some people call it meditative state. Some people call it samadhi. When you are in deep sleep, there are no impressions in your mind. In this state, you can also call this state of mindfulness in a loose form, not because mindfulness also nowadays people do not really understand the meaning of mindfulness. You can see a state of presence, alert, alive presence, where you are not thinking. You are not thinking, but you are alive. You are in the body. Shiva calls this Prabuddha state, which is higher than the previous two. Then the fourth one in wakefulness is Suprabuddha or Jagrat Turya. Turya is the fourth state. When you are in fourth state while you are wakeful. Now that is even higher than being inside the body. And being free of all the impressions in form of deep sleep. Shiva says that when you know wakefulness, dreaming and deep sleep distinctively, separate from you, then you will also know the fourth state. This is an experiential state, and explaining about it is not one of the best things to do. Because when you create concepts about these things like Turya, you are trying to create a concrete concept whereas it should be kept fluid, it should be kept up to experience, it should be kept experiential. People should not imagine things like Turya. They should be able to live in Turya. Some of you may give this argument that something we cannot imagine, how we can get it. That's a very shallow argument, very superficial argument. That's not true. You always experience something which you do not imagine. The essence of you is unimaginable. The essence of who you are is beyond your imagination. So this is Jagrat Turya. where you see the reality as it is while you are awake. You see the real nature of things, the real nature of sight and whatever you are seeing, hearing and whatever you are hearing, touching and whatever you are touching, smell and whatever you are smelling, taste and whatever you are tasting. That is Jagrat Turya Avastha, wakefulness, and you are in fourth. So fourth state in wakefulness. It's a transcendental state. You go beyond the sight, beyond the sound, beyond the touch, beyond the smell, beyond the taste. You go beyond the physical reality, while staying in the body, staying awake in the body. Next is Rupastha Avastha, Rupastha state. Which is dreaming state. And dreaming again can be divided into four types. Dreaming wakefulness, dreaming, dreaming deep sleep, and dreaming Turya, the fourth. So when you are in dreaming state, it's a wonderful place to be and to understand who you are and the reality of the universe. Why is it so? Because in dreaming state, when you transition from dreaming state to wakefulness, you know for fact that whatever was there in the dreaming was not the reality, and you can doubt dreaming very well. It is hard to doubt your wakefulness state. It is hard to doubt that you are a body, but it is easy to doubt that you were in a dream. However, when you are in the dream, you cannot doubt the dream. When you are out of the dream, you always doubt the dream. It's a great entry point. It has helped me a lot. And it's worth experimenting with your dreams. Dreaming state, not with the dreams obviously, but the dreaming state. Dreaming and wakefulness, when they come together, we call it Gautam Agatam. Gautam Agatam means when you are in and out of the body, in and out of the mind. So sometimes you are in body, sometimes you are in mind. That is Gautam Agatam. Sometimes you are in the dream, sometimes you are in the body. Have you seen such dreams when you are not fully dreaming and when you are not fully in the body? It happens many times when you are not able to sleep properly. You are partly in the body, partly in the dream. Gatam, Agatam, going in, coming out from the dream. Next is Suvikshiptam. Suvikshiptam means when you are, Vikshipt word, Vikshipt means retarded. Suvikshiptam means when you are completely in your mind, you are completely in dreaming. That is Suvikshiptam. When you are completely in dreaming, anything that happens to you in the dream is a reality for you. You won a lottery in a dream, you are rich in your experience. Somebody died in a dream, you are upset. And somebody really died when you are in that experience of dreaming. It is only when you come out of the experience then you doubt that. When you are in a dream, you don't doubt that. A lion is chasing you in the dream. You will run for your life. You will never stop and say, wait a minute, let me check if it is a real lion or not. No, you will just run because you know in your reality the lion is real now. And that's where I always say it's a wonderful point for you to catch the first glimpse of reality here. The lion is made up by you in a dream. You made up the lion. Who is fearful now from the lion? You are fearful. So you have divided yourself into two. You have made lion out of you. You have made yourself out of you. And you have also made the environment in which this entire experience is happening. So the scene is created by you. And you are observing this entire incident. Isn't it? Your body in a dream. Your mind is creating your copy who is fighting or running from the lion. Your mind created a lion. Your mind created the situation, the scenario, the scene, the jungle in the dream. But someone is watching all this happening. So this state when you are completely lost in the dreaming, and obviously you are not considering the possibility of a watcher or a witness of all this activity, but you are part of that entire experience. Then you are Suvikshiptam, dreaming state. Where you are completely in mind. When you come out of this dream, you know your reality changes. Like I said, it's a great gateway for you. Next is dreaming Turya. So dreaming in deep sleep is the third one. We also call it Sangatam. Sam plus Gatam. When you are dreaming, which is of course the mind. Deep sleep in the state of dreaming, Sangatam Avastha, Sangatam state. You can be in a pleasant full dream where you are not making any action but you are happy. The happiness of deep sleep comes into this state. The pleasantfulness of deep sleep comes through a dream, in a dream. There are many dreams sometimes, very pleasant, relaxing, liberating dreams. Happens less, but it happens. The fourth one is Turya in dreaming. When you are in the fourth and when you are dreaming. That's very, very, very rare.